Boker Tov, Yeladim. Boker Tov. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody this morning? You ready for class?
Yes.
All right, everybody, turn on the camera so I can see you this morning. See your wonderful faces.
Yes. Everybody together. Yeah.
All right, let's start our day off with some prayer. The Shema and the Ten Commandments. Let's see. Let's make sure who's here. All right. Lyra Land, you guys get to start us off. Yeshua, you're going to pray for us this morning. You're all going to do the Shema, and Hadassah is going to do the Ten Commandments.
Thank you, Lord, for this day, and please help us to learn more, and please let us pay attention, and in Yeshua's name, Amen. Shema Israel, Yehovah Elohim, Yehovah Echad, Baruch Shem Kevo, Malkuto Be'olam Bayeh. Israel, the Lord our God is one God. I'm your Lord who brought you out of Egypt. Do not have any others beside my face. Do not take the name of the Lord in vain. Keep the Sabbath holy. Honor your mother and father. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not lie. Do not covet.
Everybody give Hadassah the big wiggly fingers, wiggly fingers, wiggly fingers, wiggly fingers, wiggly fingers. Very good, Hadassah. All right, we're in Parasha number 5. Hey, Sarah. We're in Genesis, Bereshit 23:1 to 25:18. The main focus of what we're going to be talking about this week is keeping our oaths and commitment. Let's see. Let's start off with Lev. Lev, what is an oath? What is an oath, Lev?
An oath is a promise or a vow, and a promise or a vow or an oath means that it can't be broken.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment you're obligated to do.
Very good, Lev.
Like you gave your word and you have to do it.
Very good, Lev. Very good, Lev. Yeshua, what is an oath? Yeshua, what is an oath?
An oath is a
Lev just told you. Were you not listening?
An oath is like you promise to do something.
You promised to do something. Very good. Sammy, Shmooey, what is an oath?
An oath is did you promise something?
Okay, very good, very good. Now we got your attention. All right. All right, now everybody, you're supposed to be listening. When the other students are talking, you're supposed to be listening, okay? So that way, when they give an answer that is correct, and I ask you the same thing, you can say, I don't know. Okay? All right, so let's read our main verses for the whole parasha. Victoria, read Parasha 24, verse 3 and 4.
Because I want you to swear by Adonai, God of heaven and God of the earth, that you will not choose a wife for my son from among the women of the Kenai, among whom I am living, but that you will go to my homeland, to my kinsmen, to choose a wife for my son Yitzhak.
All right, thank you, Victoria. Very good read. All right, so this is Abraham speaking to Eliezer, his servant, and he was going to go on a long journey. Eliezer was going to go on a long journey, and he was going to go get a wife for Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Okay, so let's ask a question. Let's start with Hadassah with the question. Why did Abraham ask his servant to swear an oath? Why did Abraham ask his servant to swear an oath?
Why did Abraham ask the servant to swear no? To swear no? Because it was a promise.
Well, you are correct that an oath is a promise, but why did he ask him to promise?
For promise that, let's say that I tell Sammy to promise to keep to watch Pinkas for he doesn't get in trouble. And he keep the promise.
Okay, he keeps the promise. Okay, I think we're getting near there. Yeshua, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Like for him don't lie
Why would he lie?
because some people say a promise and lie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that right now. Why would somebody do something like that?
Because they don't listen, they don't obey what their master says.
Well, why would somebody lie, Yeshua?
Because some people are not good. They don't have a trustworthy heart for keep a promise.
Okay, that's very good. That's a very good answer. All right. Allie Mae. Allie Mae, why would Abraham want his servant to swear an oath? Pretty serious.
So that way he knows that he's not going to go and do it anyways.
Huh? I didn't understand what you meant.
So that he said that Abraham knows that he's not just going to go and get a wife for Yitzhak from the Canaanite.
Yeah, but why have him swear an oath? Why didn't he just tell him go do this, but he made him swear an oath? What's so important about that? And why did he have him do it?
Uh,
Why would you have somebody do something? What would cause him to do something like that? What do you think was going on in their society that he had his servant swear an oath?
That everybody else that went around them was not following God. So maybe he wanted them to swear an oath because he didn't want him to pick a wife from the people that weren't following God.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. What do you think, Mia? Why would Abraham make his servant swear an oath?
I think this is my personal opinion. I think it's so that the reason Abraham made Elazar swear an oath that he pick a wife from his homeland, from Abraham's kinsmen, is so that it's made because then he wants to make sure that Elazar will do it.
So he's going to make him swear an oath to make sure he's going to do it?
Yeah, because Elazar is Abraham's most trusted servant, and I'm pretty sure Elazar took an oath seriously. So Abraham wants to make sure that Elazar will do it. That because he made an oath, he will be obligated to it, obligated to fulfill it. That he'll have to fulfill it. If not, then he's gonna break his promise.
But don't people break promises all the time? You know, since the dawning of man, don't people break their promises all the time, Mia?
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that we should do it. Because God, his promises are serious. He takes them seriously.
All right, so God takes the promises seriously. All right, Victoria, what do you think as we start off this week with this focus about oaths and commitment? Why do you think he had him swear an oath?
If you swear an oath, you really have to do it. You have to obey whatever you swore to, or like just not do something. So like now there's no risk that his servant will choose a wife from Kenai because he already swore an oath. So he's not gonna do that. That makes sense.
Well, don't people lie all the time and nobody's watching them? You can't call them on the phone because there's no phones. There's no video cameras, there's no recording devices. I mean, can't people just lie and break their promises, Victoria?
They can, but they shouldn't. If they if if they obey God and worship him, then they will keep their promise.
Does Elazar have a relationship with God?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
You think so? But nobody's going to be
Yeah.
watching him. Nobody's going to be watching him. He's going to be pretty far away, and you know. So, what if he lies? So what if he lies? People lie all the time, don't they, Victoria?
They do, but that's not right.
But what's going to happen if they lie? Is anything really going to happen if they lie?
Consequences in the future. So like, I mean, in trial, that's gonna be something that can put you in hell, I guess. So like, you don't want to risk that.
You don't want to risk it. But nobody's going to be watching this sermon. He's going to be taking all this stuff. He's going to be taking all this money with him, and he could just disappear. And
God is watching, so I mean, there is someone watching. Like, I mean, maybe even like someone actually on Earth was like watching you secretly, and then they can like tell everyone that you did something bad when you think that no one was there. and then God is also watching. So you can't really get away with anything bad.
So you think God is gonna, chastise a servant for lying?
He could.
He could.
He'll get
All right.
punished.
How's he gonna get punished? Is God gonna spank
There
him?
could be lots of. I mean, there could be lots of ways for God to punish him, but yeah.
Okay. All right. Get started, everybody. Okay. This is what we're going to be talking about this week, about making promises and making oaths. Okay. And keeping our promises and not making promises if we don't think we can keep them. Okay. It's very important because liars, all liars, as Yeshua said in the book of Revelation, they go to hell. Okay. All liars go to hell. All right. So you got to think about even at your young age. Okay, you got to think about at your young age that a lie you might tell. God, if nobody catches you here on earth, don't worry, God is listening. Okay. So let's see what we got here. We're going to move on from that. We're going to move on from that. All right. Let's see. All right, we're going to be backing up a little bit. Let's keep on this. Let me see what I want to do. Let's see what we want to do here. We're going to keep on the promise area. All right, Lev, read verse 2, 24:2.
Abraham said to the servant who had served him the longest, who was in charge of all he owned, "Put your hand under my thigh."
Okay, thank you, Lev. That was a good read. Good read. All right, this seems kind of weird. And we've talked about in the past, but as you guys get older, you understand things in a little bit different uh, understanding. Your mind grows, and then you get more of the understanding of the concept. I'm going to start with the little ones again. All right, so we didn't do vocabulary words because I didn't have vocabulary words on this. So let's look at some words. Let's look at the word servant. Yeshua, what is a servant? What is a servant, Yeshua?
Like a slave, but that works very hard. Is a type of slave. Is a type of slave, but it works when the master say a command.
Does it always have to be a slave, Yeshua? Does it always have to be a slave?
It always has to be a righteous person sometimes.
Well, can a servant be an unrighteous person? If he's a slave, a slave for a reason, right?
If he's a slave for a reason, yeah.
But you said he has to be a righteous person to be a servant. But if he's a slave, that meant there's something that caused him to be a slave, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Let's go over to Lev and then to Hadassah. We'll go back and forth. Lev, what is a servant?
A servant is sorry. A servant is a person that basically is, I'm guessing, the right hand lead, like the second leader in a way of the master. Or I'm thinking the servant is someone who serves the master something. And whatever his master tells him to do, he obeys.
So a servant is somebody who obeys their master. Is that it?
He does things for his master, takes care of his stuff.
So that is what is another word for servant then?
Slave.
Does he always have to be a slave?
Well, I'm pretty sure if he promised Abraham that he would serve him forever until he dies, I'm pretty sure then he would still be a slave by the time he's like 86 years old.
Okay. All right, let's see what Hadassah thinks, and then Allie, you're next. Hadassah, what do you think?
I think a servant is somebody who brings food stuff like that.
Could you say that again? You were mumbling.
I said that a servant is like somebody who takes like food
Takes food where?
to their masters.
So a servant is somebody like a waiter that brings food to somebody? Is that all they do?
Not all of the people do that. Yes, some they do something else.
Does a servant get paid?
No. I mean, yes.
No or yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, servant gets paid.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting to learning what a servant is in some ways. Allie Mae, what do you think?
Well, I know that for one, a servant is different than a slave. So slaves don't get paid, servants do.
Okay, is that it? So servants get paid and slaves don't.
Mm,
Mia, you're next.
Servants are bought and sold every day. So like not today, because in other places it is, but not like in the U.S. because that's illegal. But servants were bought and sold every day, and slaves were basically slaves were people that did something wrong, like they stole something from their master, like the person that they worked for now, and had to repay them.
Well, you said servants are bought and sold every day, but I thought you're getting paid, so you're not a slave. So how can somebody buy you or sell you if you're a servant?
Because if your master owns you if you're a servant. So if you sell your servant to somebody else, then that means that somebody else owns you.
Well, then what's the difference between that and a slave?
A slave basically they don't get paid, and they do basically anything that, like, they do all the work.
Then what does a servant do?
A servant doesn't do all the work. Like, the servant does like the housework and stuff, but the slave does like housework and outside work.
So you're saying a servant does less work than a slave?
Yeah.
Let's see what Mia thinks. Mia?
Slaves okay, so both servants and slaves, they both serve a master. They both have a master, and they both do work. And slaves are bought with the master's money, and the slaves will work without any pay. And they have no rights at all, which means that the master can do whatever they want to the slave, treat them harshly or treat them good. It's the same thing. A servant, I think, has a few more. I think a servant has some rights than a slave, and I think a servant also works and gets paid.
Yeah, a servant has freedom, okay? A slave does not have freedom because for some reason they're a slave, everybody, okay? Whether they stole something and couldn't pay it back, or they made a business deal and they didn't have the money to finish the project, okay? So a servant, now somebody can say they want to be the servant for the rest of their life, in biblical times and still around the world today. A servant can also be somebody who works for you, like Allie Mae's parents own a store, and they have people working for them. Okay, they're called employed. Nobody's working for you.
People work for us, but they're not called servants. They're called employees.
Well, it's the same thing, right?
Sort of. They have more rights than a servant does.
Okay, and tell me the difference between the rights of an employee and a servant.
So, well, for one, the they they don't have to like um,
What's the difference between a slave and a servant? Or no, a servant and an employee? Does a servant get paid?
yes,
Does an employee get paid?
yes,
Does a servant have to do what the master tells him to do?
yes,
Does an employee have to do what the boss tells him to do?
yes.
So the words are the same, they're synonymous. Victoria, you got your hand up?
It's it's like the same thing, but an employee is mostly just for like work related things. So they would work for you for like they would help you out with your work, like your job work. And then a servant is mostly like an assistant, I guess. Like they'll help you around the house and maybe also work, like job work.
Say that again. I didn't understand what you were saying.
Like a servant is kind of like an assistant. like they'll help you around the house and all that, and also sometimes I guess with your work, like your job work. And then an employee is mostly like it's just for work. Like I mean, work as in like your job. Like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Okay, Allie Mae's got her hand up again. Okay, there's no.
I have a difference.
Okay,
The servant has to work all the time, but the employee doesn't always have to work all the time. They have a time schedule. They could be part-time and only do a couple of hours, or they could be full-time and do like all day.
wouldn't the servant be the same thing? You know, you come in, you have your own place to live, and you come into work at a certain time and go home at a certain time if you're a servant? But a slave doesn't do that, right? You just muted, Allie. Go ahead. Doesn't an employee have to come in at a certain time? Yeah. Okay, the employee has to come in at a certain time. All right. And doesn't get to leave till a certain time, right? The servant gets paid, right? An employee gets paid, right? A servant can be fired, right? An employee can be fired. Like the master can say, or the boss can say, I don't want you working here anymore, right? Okay. All right. So this word took a little while. Okay, a servant. Now, sometimes a servant can be a slave. Okay. Because the servant says, you know, I don't want to leave my master. Okay, because he's got his freedom, and then he can be a slave for the rest of his life. Okay, biblically. Okay. Now, let's go back to Yeshua. Let's go back to the younger kids. Who was in charge? What does it mean to be in charge, Yeshua? And then we're going to go to lab.
What does it mean to be in charge? In charge. Like looking after something?
What do you mean, like looking after something? I think you're going in the right direction.
Like let's say like Sammy is in charge of picking up the toys. And Hadassah's in charge of making the beds. And Hannah's in charge of cleaning putting the shoes away.
Okay.
And I'm in charge of folding the clothes.
Does it come out good when you fold the clothes?
Yes.
Okay. So this is when you're in charge, you have a job you have to do. That means you're in charge of that job, Yeshua?
Yeah.
Okay, that was very good. That was very good. Lev, what does it mean to be in charge, Lev?
What I think means to be in charge, to be in charge means that, like, let's say, Abraham, what he would do, since he was in charge, a person that's in charge has to tell people things to do. Like let's take for example our mom. She tells us what to do. Like she usually, for chores, she usually basically hands out chores for us in a way like telling us what to do. Like let's say my mom tells me to do the room, and then she tells Mia to clean the kitchen. That's what I mean by someone's in charge.
Okay, so let me understand what you said. So the person who's in charge is the person who divvies up the work, means gives out the jobs. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now that we know that what that's right, because Yeshua had it right. He said, Sammy's in charge of this. He's going to do this job, and Yeshua's going to be in charge of folding the clothes, and somebody's going to be in charge of putting the shoes away. Okay. So in charge. So Abraham said to a servant who served him the longest, was in charge of all he owned. Put your hand under my thigh. Okay. So the servant is somebody who works for somebody else. Okay. So the servant is working for Abraham. Okay. And he was in charge, meaning he was the one that was responsible for all the different jobs. Okay. Telling the other servants what to do. Okay. So Lev said, Mom is in charge of telling me what to do and Lev what to do. Okay. So in charge of something means that you have responsibility. Everybody say responsibility. Everybody say responsibility. Okay. A lot of people your age don't understand responsibility. And sadly, a lot of older people don't understand responsibility. Responsibility. Okay. Now, Allie, read verse 2 again. Yes, I can read very well.
Abraham said to the servant who had served him the longest, who was in charge of all he owned, put your hand under my thigh.
Gotta hold your mic closer to your face. It's a joke. Okay. All right. So now we're going to look at this next part of this verse number 2 that Allie read for us very well. Okay. Put your hand under my thigh. Victoria. That's weird. That's really weird.
Yep.
What, did Abraham have a Charlie horse and he had to, rub his muscles and get rid of the Charlie horse? You know what a Charlie
Maybe.
horse? You know what a Charlie horse is?
Yeah, it's like a cramp.
Okay, so Abraham's telling the servant, fix a cramp in my leg?
I don't think that's why he's telling him to put his hand under his thigh, but I remember like talking about this, but I forgot why he has to put his hand under his thigh.
Is Abraham fat and he has to help him move his legs and he's an old man?
No, I don't think it's anything like that. I think maybe I don't know.
All right, let's see here. Hadassah, where is a person's thigh? What part of your body? Can you come up closer to the camera and point to your thigh?
Your thigh. Point to my thigh.
Yeah, can you tell me what your thigh is?
thigh?
Is that up here? Is your thigh here?
No, that's my brain.
Is the thigh here?
No, that's my nose.
Is your thigh here?
Pointy No. Point it with your own body. No.
Point to it with your own finger. Where's your thigh?
Where is your thigh? My thigh? My thigh my thigh is.
Is this your thigh?
No.
Shmooey, point to, tell me, point to where your thigh is. Stand up. Point to where your thigh is. Shmooey Jewy.
Now point where your thigh is. Point it, you. No, you point it. Where's your thigh? Where?
Is this your thigh, Shmooey?
No, that's my nose.
Is this your thigh?
Is that your thigh? That's a eye.
So where's your thigh? Is your thigh next to your eye? You'll get your chance in a second, Yeshua.
Okay. I think it's right down here.
What, Shmooey?
I think it's right down here.
Right down where?
Down here.
Okay, it looks like you're pointing to the right area. Yeshua, tell us where your thigh is.
My thigh?
Yeah, you disappeared.
I have to shake a lot. Maybe red's not so good. I could describe it. Maybe my thigh is where my leg is.
Okay, by your foot?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it below your buttocks? I can't see you, so you disappeared on the camera. All right, let me see. Lev, can you tell me, can you point to where your thigh is, Lev?
It's the part underneath your bottom.
Bottom of your foot?
No. Your rear end.
Okay. So it's where your toes are?
No.
Where does your thigh, where's your thigh stop?
Your knee. That's where it stops.
Okay, very good. Between your buttocks or your bottom and your knee, that's where your thigh is, okay? All right, so we gotta, that was good. Gotta make sure, and Hadassah and Shmooey don't know where their thigh is. That's okay. Yeshua, point to your thigh so that Hadassah knows where it is. Yeshua, point to your thigh so that Hadassah knows where your thigh is. Okay, Hadassah, you know where it is now? Shmooey, you know where it is now? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, thumbs up. All right, good. Now that we know where it is, now we got to talk about Allie Mae. Why did he say put his hand under his thigh? Did he have a Charlie horse? Victoria confused me.
No, it's because he was making a promise. He was and he's asking him to put his hand under his thigh so that way he can swear the oath.
Why didn't he just give him a handshake?
No.
Why didn't he just say, cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye?
Because that wasn't invented yet.
How do you know?
Because needles weren't invented then. Were they?
Yeah, they were. How do you think they made their clothing? They had to put it through a loom. How do you think they made a tunic?
I don't know.
So they said, cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. Why didn't he just do that?
That saying was not invented yet.
How do you know that?
Mm.
You know
They
what?
wouldn't have known what it meant either, probably.
So then why did he say, put your hand under my thigh? Wouldn't the servants go, oh goodness, this is not, no, I am not doing that. This is not right.
No.
Then why is he doing it? This is weird. Mia, you're next.
I don't know.
You're doing it again. Last week you did this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you coffee in the morning. Okay, Mia's drinking her coffee.
That you're correct on. In a big mug. Anyway.
The big blue mug.
Yes, the big blue mug. Anyway, so the reason Abraham told Eleazar to put his hand under his thigh was because number one, it was a custom back then to do that in making oaths, like a serious oath. And the other thing is that where the thigh is, it's close where the loins are for the men. So that means that Eleazar by doing that, he's putting his descendants on the line, because if Eleazar doesn't fulfill his promise, then he and his descendants, whatever future descendants he had, would bear the blame forever, and that he and his descendants would be chastised for breaking the promise.
Okay, very good, Mia. Okay, then Victoria, what did Mia just say? Your hair's getting long. Put it all in front of your face, like cousin it.
She said that back then it was like a custom for you to do that. It was like wait. Like when you made a promise, it was a custom for you to do that, so then like you wouldn't break the promise, I guess.
Okay, so he's putting his hand on her side. Wow. He said, wow. Are you listening, Victoria?
I zoned out a little bit, but
Do you need coffee?
maybe.
I'm
I
telling you,
had
Diane.
chia seeds with water.
You had what?
Chia seeds with water.
I think you and Allie may definitely need coffee on Mondays.
Okay.
Okay, so Mia told us, and she was right. You sure you're waving your hand? No? Okay. All right, Mia told us rightly that this is where the loins are, where the seed of the man would be, and that if you broke the promise or you broke the vow, that your children would pay the price. Now, this is very important too, because Abraham had a promise from Jehovah. That remember in Genesis Bereshit 12? What was the promise in Bereshit 12, Victoria? What's the promise in Genesis 12?
There were 7 promises, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was that. Wait, all of them? You want me to say?
Well, the main one.
Um,
Well,
that he will bless those that bless him and curse those who curses him.
Right.
them.
Good. Very good. Very good. Now this is important because if Abraham's servant breaks his vow, breaks a promise, then he's going to call curses upon himself. Okay, because Jehovah said to Abraham, or back then it was Abraham, okay, I will bless those that bless you. So your servant keeps the promise, he'll get a blessing for him and his descendant. If his servant breaks the promise, then he'll get a curse for him and his descendants. Okay, so he puts his hand under the thigh and a blessing or a curse. Blessing or a curse. Okay. All right. So let's move on from this a little bit. All right. Let's read this again. This was our main part. And we're going to stick on this for today's lesson. Promises and our vows. All right. Mia, read it with feeling. Verse 3 and 4.
Because I want you to swear by Jehovah, God of heaven and God of the earth, that you will not choose a wife for my son from among the women of the Canaanite, among whom I'm living, but that you will go to my homeland, to my kinsmen, to choose a wife for my son Yitzhak.
Thank you, Mia. Very good read. Allie looks like she's on the phone now. All right. Now, we said this earlier, but I want to make sure everybody remembered. Hadassah, what does it mean to swear something? Hadassah.
To swear. What does it mean to swear, Alyssa? Swear means like it um
We talked about it in the beginning.
Swear means it's like a promise.
Very good. Very good. Swearing is like a promise. It's a promise. Very good, Hadassah. Okay. Now in the verse 3, it said, because I want you to swear by Adonai, Jehovah, Elohim of heaven, Elohim of earth, God of heaven and God of earth. You will not choose. Shmui, what does it mean to choose? Choose. What does it mean to choose something, Shmuel?
Choose means I choose a Bible.
What do you mean choose a Bible?
The Lord wants us to open it and read it. To pick which verse. And pick which verse.
Okay. So you're choosing which verse to read, Shmuel?
Yes.
Are you sure? You said yes.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, Shmuel. Now, Victoria, let's see if the juice is kicked in. He says that you will not choose a wife for my son. What is a wife, Victoria? This should be interesting.
A wife is someone that you trust and that you most likely live with. She will like take care of the kids, take care of the house, clean the house, cook for you. It's like she's like your companion, so she's with you all the time.
But you said you most likely will live with her. That means sometimes you're not going to live with her?
Like maybe like you have a wife, but maybe you have to travel for your job or something, so maybe you're not gonna be with her.
Okay, so wife is a companion. Okay, she doesn't come with you on business trips.
I mean, if she could, she probably would go with you, but yeah. It's like
And she cooks
a partner.
like a partner. Okay. Lev, what is a wife?
A wife is a wife is I don't know how to explain it. I do not know how to explain it. Just say the truth. What's on your mind about it. Just say whatever you can. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know what a wife is? Okay. All right, Yeshua and Hadassah got their hand up. Yeshua and then Hadassah.
A wife is like the lady who got married.
Married to what?
To a man.
Okay. Does the wife have certain jobs she has to do?
She has to cook, make the challah for Shabbat. If it's her turn to make the challah for the congregation, like all the ladies do. And
So she's got to cook. She's
put
got
on
to
the cover and put on the cover hair just in case somebody comes.
So wife has to cover her hair. Okay, very good. Hadassah, what is a wife?
A wife is like a lady who cooks cook food for prepare Shabbat dinner. Like she makes the challah for Shabbat and makes some dinner.
Okay, makes dinner, makes the challah. Shmuel's got his hand up. What is a wife, Shmuel?
A wife is a wife gets married from a man and cooks and make the challah for the Shabbat if is her turn.
Does she make a call every week? Does a wife make a call every week?
Does a wife make a challah every week?
All right, let me ask Allie Mae. Allie Mae, you're last. Allie Mae, what is a wife?
What is lovey?
A wife is somebody, a lady that gets married to a man. She has jobs in the house um, like doing like laundry, cooking, taking care of kids, making the challah, cleaning.
Okay, very good. Can a wife be a man, Allie?
No.
Very good answer. All right, we come to the end of our class today. And we're going to close in some prayer. I'm thinking of a number from 1 to 10. Yeshua had his hand up first.
I'm thinking 1.
You are wrong. Allie Mae was second, then Lev.
4.
Wrong. Lev.
I'm guessing 6.
Wrong.
Asher's next. Asher's next.
Asher goes next, then Victoria.
What numbers? 6, 7.
7.
He said 7.
7.
Asher is correct.
Oh. So Ray said, say thank you, Lord. Say it loud.
Thank you for today. Give them in the arm.
All right.
Amen. Thank you, Asher. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.
Oh. Shalom, Rabbi. Shalom, Americans.
Shalom.
Goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys.